Right. So, as said, being a founder on top of those reasons is actually quite a tedious task, and it's like juggling between everything. I mean, everything at once: product, tech, sales, marketing, hiring people, firing people, and that's beyond the problem space itself. So, because most founders know their domain very well, but that's only one piece of it. It's no wonder so many founders end up stretched thin and overwhelmed. Now, a little bit of introduction. We already did an introduction, and Oad, again, thank you for being here, and I think you covered most of this introduction earlier about myself a little bit. So I had the chance to found two companies. I also had the chance to work with early stage founders on their business strategy and investment readiness. I had a chance to invest in a few directly and through a VC fund, a Norwegian VC fund, and also I ran an angel investor club in Switzerland with a Swiss partner. So having both hats in a way in terms of founding companies and investing in some. In the last 2 years, I'm fully engaged with ThinkUp, and we are building together collaboration with communities and business schools and acceleration programs, all to help early stage founders and people with idea to build something meaningful. And we will deep dive into what we are really doing, and you'll experience that during this workshop. All right, so let's talk a little bit about dream building, because I want to give context to the work, to the different parts of work that you're going to do during this workshop. And as I said before, market need is the #1 reason people don't succeed or startups are failing. And it starts with the idea validation. And by saying idea validation, it's that part of the journey that you need to go out and discover your customers, map first the stakeholders, who are the end users, decision makers, people who influence the decision-making process, but not necessarily part of it. Then after you assume things on your personas, you need to go out and talk to them, right? You need to assess whether there's a main need or not. And after you do that, you need to have a kind of a validation to the need that you plan to solve, or the challenge or the pain that you need to solve. It's usually a main obstacle, and or things that founders, especially early stage, don't do, or first timer don't do, but it's crucial and it's important. Then you need to assess or analyze whether the market is big enough. Because if you are a tech startup and you need to get funded by VC investors or angel investors, they won't invest if the market is not big enough. And I won't get into the reasons of that, but when you do the math from their side, bearing the risks and how many failures will be out of each of every investment that they do, the market has to be big enough, and you need to show that the market is big, and analyze and then show to them that the market is big enough. It's super important, critical. Then after you validated the needs and the market is big enough, only then you start conceptualizing your product. Which features or which capabilities of that product are you gonna solve the needs that you validated earlier? And after you conceptualize your product, then you need to go out, map the landscape, and understand who does what and what do you do differently. What's your moat? What's the differentiation, the unique value proposition that will make your solution different, transformative sometimes, than the existing solution that they use to solve those needs, right? And then you need to go out with the concept, etc., and test whether, like a prototype, and see if it makes sense to those customers. So this is the idea validation process as a whole, and that could take I don't know, a month or 3 months Sometimes it takes half a year or more to validate these things. And you're in your desktop or surrounding, and you need to move fast. It takes time to do this idea validation. After you do that, you wrap the business framework around what you decided to build. How am I gonna reach the go-to-market strategy? So how am I gonna meet the first early adopters? Who would be the first early adopters? How do I reach them? Directly or through channel partners or partners that I access these end users or customers through them? And if so, what will make them work with me rather than others? Incentivizing them. What's the business model? How do I capture value in the company? Financial, team construction, company roadmap, milestones, super important. And of course, in some cases, IP and regulation. It takes time to build this, or at least structure the business framework around your idea. And you have to do that before you move out. And when you move out, there are two lanes, I would say. One is, or path. One is, attracting the first customers. The yellow path, which is basically having an MVP, having early traction, doing the marketing, and try to reach to a mechanism of marketing or sales that eventually is structured and I would say sustainable. And then that when you pour more money into the structure that you build, you're going to do, I don't know, 5x. For every buck that you spend, you do 5x. And when you reach that point, it's usually called product market fit. Okay, this is where it is. And this could take like years. Yeah, 1 year, 2 years for sure. The second path is all about funding. You need to prepare for funding. It usually takes a lot of time. And the process itself, when you meet people, when you meet investor, and having the process until you get paid, usually also gonna take 6 to 12 months. The earliest you start working, and by saying funding prep or being investor ready, you have to come with the mindset that it will take time. You're probably going to hear a lot of no's until you get the funding eventually, and you need to prepare yourself for that phrase. So look how long the dream building starts. Yeah, it's only until you get the first funding round. Now, the challenges start early on. And most founders, because it's hard, because it's time consuming, and sometimes most of us are, I would say, outdoers or builders, and most of you are builders in your essence, that drives you right away to build something and test it with the market, which could be good, but sometimes you have to delve a lot of time and effort in the customer discovery, needs, pain, validating those needs before you move and build something. Why? Because if you build something and you try to meet people or potential customers, you might find yourself with a problem later in the stage after you spend sometimes months of work and effort and resources. So the main, I would say, insight or thing that I want you to get out of this workshop eventually is spend the time, delve into the idea validation first before moving very fast into building things. Eventually it will save you a lot of money and effort and time. Now, we're in different era, and I started by presenting, I would say, the problem or the odds of success. But what if you could beat the odds using AI tools? And we definitely believe that there are ways to validate dreams, okay? Better ways to validate dreams with AI tools. And this is what we're going to focus on today. and we're going to work on your ideas. Right. So what we're going to do today. So the first thing I would like you to do first, and I'll introduce it a first tool in a moment, called Kunai. I would like you to at least try to find some evidence to what you're going to build, that there is a need for what you're going to build, right? And by evidence, I mean people are talking or writing nowadays on Reddit or on other communities or places. There are challenges, and those challenges could be tracked. And with AI tools, scanning tools, you maybe can find meaningful evidence to what you're going to build. So this is a practice. You know what? Before we dive into that, I would like to say that look, most of the tools and for sure ThinkUp, you work for maybe days, weeks, or even months. Okay, so what we're gonna just to align on expectation, we will try to get you doing something on each tool, but for sure they're going to be, you can deep dive after this workshop and explore more. And so in terms of aligning expectation, we want you to taste a bit and then do the most of the work later on. Okay, so just to align. So one thing is Kunai. Then afterwards, after you find some needs, I'll introduce a prompt that will help you define the problem statement or the idea statement clearly. And then when you have those needs and the idea statement, you will register to ThinkUp and start working on the platform, map your key stakeholders, the end customers, to some of you, the decision makers or the influencers, and build personas. And if time will allow, and I hope we will, afterwards we will take those insights that you're going to get, we will pour them into another tool that is called Magic Patterns, and it will try to help you in finding nice features for those validated needs or there's some assumed need that you're gonna find out or articulate, and then with the results from that tool, we're gonna rework on ThinkUp, and you're gonna work on your product concept better. Okay. Now that this is the process, and we'll start with Kunai. All right. So I hope everyone is with their own computers. What I suggest is that you have kind of try to kind of assemble yourself to two or three people working together. Okay, you can do solo work, but try to kind of be in couples or 3 people per group. And I'll give you some time. I will introduce the tool, and then I'll give you some time to work on your own ideas, and you can consult between yourself. I'll give you some time to work, and then we're going to have discussion on what you worked on. All right, this is like the process that we're going to do in this workshop. All right, so log into Kunai, and I will show you. Let me stop sharing this for a second. Oh, just a second. This is not the right one.
The link to
the Zoom, you can share with everyone.
oh, not everybody has the link. Okay.
Maybe you can share.
So fit, you need me or something?
Kunai.com, that's the first link you need to go to.
Yeah, but also if you
sure.
exclude that you will connect to Zoom, because if you want to send me a chat privately or like and also you're gonna share some forms later, so I think it's gonna be a good idea.
Yeah.
We're just making sure everyone has the Zoom link and everyone is just.
Okay, so first of all, if you have the Zoom link, you can join this call. okay? Be muted, etc., and you can join the Zoom call. I will share the links if you need it, and some prompts, etc. So maybe better join this call. I can give you some 1 or 2 minutes to join the call. No worries.
Recording in progress.
Okay. And in the meantime, while you're logging in, I will show you a little bit what to do with Kunai. I'll give you 1 more minute, and then I'll start.
Yeah. Everybody that you join.
Good. All right.
Did you get the email? I got it. No, not yet. Did you sign up to the payroll?
All right. So follow my instruction, and then you'll have time to do it. And all right. So logging in to Kunai, right? Kunai.com. You can log in with a Google account or all right. So the main thing here is it's a tool for leads, but we won't get into the lead thing. We're going into the validation of a problem or problem finder. And on the top menu, you can find validate, and then the drop down, you have the problem finder page. So click on that. And then you have to kind of explain things to the platform. And maybe you have an idea on something that you're working on, and you probably have or can define like an assumed audience or end users that will use your product. Okay, and each one can do it their own. Okay, so I will give you an example. So let's say my audience are remote students. And I would say remote students have difficulties in selecting the right dorms or university dorms, university dorms, being freshmen, right? And I'm creating the audience. Right. Now, there's an analyze with AI, right? And clicking on the analyze AI with AI, oh, what happened here? Just a second. Okay, add subreddits. Okay, I click on the add subreddits, and it's already giving me some ideas for subreddits. I don't see something super interesting here. Just a second. Subreddits. Okay, let's pick interesting. It doesn't give me one good, but let's take a remote college room homework. And okay, let's do this. Okay, let's edit the name to university students. University students. Save changes, and then do the up. Not yet, not yet. Subreddits. student dorms. Okay, and then you can do, for example, university dorms, okay, on subreddits. Did I find dorms? Interesting, it doesn't give me them, all right? University students. I don't know, university, all right, add to audience, okay? And here you have similar subreddits. So for example, University of Houston, okay, applying to college, right? Or college, or Open University, or Boston University, and add subreddits. Now, it's important to kind of give or let the attach subreddits to the audience that we just built. Why? Because then the AI can go and analyze those subreddits and get back with insights, all right? So again, I'm repeating what I did. I defined my projected end users or end customers that eventually will potentially need my solution. And then I added subreddits and just do a simple search here, find the right one, I don't know, apply for college, apply to college, and then it finds you some more, okay? And you can then add those and as much as you add, the results that you're gonna get will be better, okay? So I'm adding some more. And then getting back to audiences, I click on Analyze with AI. All right. Now, let me explain to you what we're having here. The first one just show the subreddits that we tied to. But then look at the left side. You can then analyze. I see that I'm missing token. I will see in a second. But in the left side, you get different searches in those subreddits about pain and anger, or ideas people suggesting, or self-promotion of other people launching their products or services regarding your questions, or opportunities, right? So clicking on this, and I don't know why it's asking money. It shouldn't ask me, maybe because I'm already logged in. You should be able to use for 3 times for free. All right, so just clicking on, for example, pain and anger or ideas, and click here instead of get token, analyze, and you'll be good to go.
Neil, maybe check that everyone managed to follow.
Again?
We just check that everyone.
Yeah, please. All right, so let's do this. Try to log into Kunai, okay? And then see if you can bring on your audience, okay? The target audience that you think may use your idea. Then select the subreddit I showed you earlier, and then click on the AI, Analyze with AI, and explore the results that you get there.
So you need to add like the subreddits.
And let me know if it asks you to upgrade, if it's not free. It should be free for you.
As many as like before it's not. Can you just on Zoom? Can you? Wait,
Sorry, can we ask questions in the meantime? Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
sure, for sure.
It doesn't seem to let me access the tool without logging in, and if I log in and try to access my subreddits, it always asks me to pay. I don't mind paying. I'm just asking like if you can try this out for free in any way.
No, I wanted you to have that in free. It should get you like 3 or 4 for free. Let me see. I want to show you how it looks like, so you'll be able, if you're, they probably change something. Uh, let's see if it makes sense.
Thank you, by the way.
No, for sure. I think they changed something. Mm, 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 mm. I'm sorry about that, but to be honest, this is one of this is a very good tool that should help you at least find early evidence to the need that you're looking to solve, or at least find you more needs that people are really ranting about or angry about. It's a really nice tool, and can save you a lot of time improving that you're solving someone else need. I see that
Oh,
they
I'm
probably,
sorry.
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm so sorry. I think I figured it out. If you go to your profile, you need to put in some basic information to what your company is, and it gives you free tokens.
You're right.
I logged out, I logged back in, and it asked me. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No. Thank you for this. You might be right.
But I have tokens now, so
Okay. So just a second. Let's see how it could be done.
let me see if I can find it again.
Setting. Okay, yeah. Go into settings. Okay, go into settings and then build your profile and update. Okay, let's give it 5 or 6 more minutes. I want you to explore this tool. Sufit, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes? All right. All right, so let's since we are in hybrid mode, let's give everyone kind of a 5, 6 minutes to build a profile, get the tokens, and then find the validation or at least some needs that we eventually will get them because I want you to have like 1 or 2 needs. We will need that to the next task. Okay?
Neil, can you go back for the selecting the subreddits?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the best way to
It's
write
here.
blog for that? Okay, yeah.
You see, basically you have audience and then subreddits. And in the subreddits, you have a search bar and put the phrase work of your target audience, maybe, or the dorms, or apply for college, for example. But everyone with their own case. And then add to audience. And when you add to audience, the platform suggests some more subreddits, relevant subreddits. And the more you have, the better the analysis is.
I have a question. If
Yes,
we have
please.
something like a generic topic, for example, ADHD, there's some
Yeah.
groups talking about those topics in general, and let's say we want to target some kind of subgroup, for example, people who are dealing with ADHD at the workplace or something like that. Is it better to go broad for all groups that are related or more specific for these
It's it's kind of an iteration thing. I believe you always start broad, and then by assessing the results that you get, you kind of understand where do you need to go deeper and define better the phrases and do that. It's kind of an iterative kind of process. Okay, so for example, I don't know the case, but ADHD, it's like you're right, it's a huge topic, but then there are niches within that that you need to kind of maybe explore better. So I would then try to find other subreddits.
We can be specific to the idea we're exploring. So we're exploring finding and how to help parents that deal with ADHD in this. It's a very specific challenge. So if we go broad, generally, those groups include people who are dealing with ADHD themselves, not necessarily with kids. So that's why I'm asking.
Okay, so if you have that parents niche, then you're right. You can start with that parents. It's still a huge market. I mean, parents and HDAD and how to deal with, etc. So yeah, for sure, you can start there. Just what I wanted to avoid is to having a super niche kind of search that won't get you anywhere. That's what I wanted to avoid. Right. Just to know who managed to find one or two needs. Yep, good. Thanks, Diego. Go. Okay. What I want you to have is like one or two needs. If you have three, great. And try to and keep it. I mean, we're going to use it in a second. Let's give you 2 more minutes.
So it's kind of like testing and just trying to understand how this AI tool working. And then like after the workshop, we can really dive in there. So my suggestion, not only with this tool, but also with the ThinkUp platform, you can just work with what comes up now, just to understand how the tools are working. And then like you can go back, you can
Absolutely.
fix everything and okay, just for the learning part.
FYI, I think, like I started creating the opportunities and then I got out to go and fill my profile. And when I came back, I had to start again and
Okay.
so,
You need a few more minutes?
no, it's not that, but it's more, I don't know if it's using tokens every time, but just so you know, like, I don't think it did come back. Well,
Yeah,
it's
so I think that-
yeah.
That
And
is,
it's,
yeah, you can check code tokens. Oh, no.
and now I don't want to get out.
Okay. Okay. That could happen. If you didn't find at the moment needs, try to think of the needs that you are trying to solve or the pains that you're trying to solve, because I want to move forward. Now, what we're going to do now is that I want to talk a little bit about the importance of stating the problem or maybe even the idea. And what I'd like you to do now is to have those 3 pain points, okay, if you find some, or if you have your own, and also who is experiencing the problem, so the audience that you defined. And I will now share with you a prompt, and you can do this prompt with ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity, whoever you think, and see if you get a meaningful idea or problem statement to the thing that you're trying to achieve. I'm going to share it in a second. Right, so in the Zoom call, in the chat. I shared a document. So please try to just copy it. And then where it says pain points in the input and under the task, who is experienced the problem, try to edit the prompt, right? And see what you get. You should get 1 or 2 sentences that articulate the problem or the idea in a concise but clear way. And Sufit, you will be my eyes on the ground.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking.
Yeah, just let me know if most of people have successfully did that. And again, if you didn't find pains or challenges earlier, no worries. Try to write what kind of needs or pains are you trying to solve.
Can I ask a question in the meantime, please?
Sure, Diogo.
So this AI, does it use like latest, any sort of recent data, or does it fetch anything within the subreddits that we select?
The AI from the Kunai.
Yeah, like if the prompts that we're searching, like the issues we're trying to validate here through the subreddits, if they're still, active issues per se.
Yeah. It actually it's a cron task. If you're familiar with
Yeah.
so
Okay.
basically it runs, it analyzes, and then gives back. But as you track that, or over time, you get more and more insight. So it's not necessarily a one-time engagement. You
Okay.
come after 24, 48 minutes. It actually
Mhm.
sends you to your email kind of alerts when it kind of found more insights, more data.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot we can play around with this for sure.
yeah.
Cool tool. Thank you.
Should save a lot of time in terms of finding evidence to a need, when you
Yeah.
explore it early on. Right.
You're on fire.
So Fit, I'm waiting for your kind of call to understand whether or not people are there or not.
You have it in the document, that is sent in the
We need more time. Yes.
This one. Do you have the?
I'm already in Gemini.
Oh,
What's the question?
so can we
We
continue?
can move over this. Yeah.
Yeah, Neil, we can move over. Neil,
What I couldn't hear you. We can.
we can move forward.
Ah, great. All right. So I think after you have a few needs and a statement or idea or a problem statement, we are ready to get into ThinkUp and experience the platform. Now, what I suggest first is that we let me walk you through the process, okay? And then you register and experience it from your end, right? I think it will be better. So please, your intention. 2 words or a few words on ThinkUp, okay? As I said earlier, one of the biggest thing or biggest problem is that you can find some data on websites and you can find, you can work with LLMs or ChatGPT, etc., and find some more insights, but there's no one place that kind of hold all of your work and structure your idea or help you structure the idea in the right way that eventually will lead to a pitch deck or something tangible that you can share with experts or with other people or with investors. And this is basically the problem that we try to solve. We try to help founders, early stage people, ideators, having a workspace, one single workspace they can work inside and develop their platform. Now, before we move into registering, please let me take you into the process that you're going to do by yourself in a few more seconds, but please, your attention. All right. Sorry about that. Just a second. All right. So after you register through the dedicated link that I will give you, so don't register through the website just yet. The first element that you're going to see is what you're building today. And basically what you should add here or enter here is the product statement or the idea statement or the problem statement that you just did, okay, with a prompt. Now, let's say again that I'm trying to solve freshman remote students have difficulties in selecting the right dorms, university dorms. I'm building an app, an algorithm based app to match dorms and co-students to co-living students. All right. Clicking next. The ThinkUp platform basically analyzes the input, and you're going to see the first screen. And there are a few things I want you to notice here. The first thing is the pop-up behavior here. You see the pop-up window, and this is basically suggestions that the platform does for you. And this and the reason I'm kind of pointing to that or projecting to that is that this behavior keeps coming when you work. Okay. Now you have to understand one thing, that ThinkUp is different from, let's say, ChatGPT or other language models. If you write your idea as you just did, and you ask the ChatGPT, what is my end users, decision makers, or what are the needs or the problems, any question that you ask, you're probably going to get generic questions, right? You're going to get some structure, and if you ask, you're going to get a full business plan ready for you. But that's not the reality. Okay, you get the results, but it's usually generic, and you don't make the call. And if you need to make the call, then it's very much tedious work, lots of prompting, that, and you need to know where you want to get the answers or the results or the outcome to. And this is usually maybe easy in some cases, but to get all the ideation phase, all the idea validation phase, and the business framework around it for each and every element, to know what you want to get, this is very hard. So the way ThinkUp is built is to suggest things per task. Okay, you can take those suggestions, but you can leave them aside. You are the human in the loop that always make the call, and this is like a key element in the platform, on the platform, that you should be aware of. You make the call. You can then later on change your decisions. You can reiterate. You can come back and decide back again, and then things later on will change. But you're in the loop, right? So this is the window that you're seeing. Now, what the platform just did is it divided your idea or problem definition to the problem statement, to the solution, and to the industry that it might be relevant. In my case, it's a DOM selection, but it's an app, so it's selected right. You can, if it's not right, you can find from the predefined industries, and sometimes it will give you some insights on the industry, or you can add your own option. And also, if the challenge, if the way the platform understood your challenge and solution, or the pain that you're trying to solve, was right, great. But if not, you can edit. Okay, you can type your what you think need to be added, or you can select other suggestions from the platform. Right? So this is the kind of behavior. For example, the first selection was freshman remote students often struggle to find and select suitable university dorms due to lack of information and guidance. This is one thing, but maybe remote students may feel isolated or disconnected when choosing dorms without knowing potential roommates, etc. So maybe this is a more related or more correct. So I pick it up, and it of course updates the data. Sorry, same here regarding the solution. And if you feel comfortable with the results, then you can click Let's Keep Building. Now what happened now is that the platform keeps analyzing your selection. And what you're going to see now is basically the workspace. Okay. Now, before I move forward, just to give you an overview of what you're seeing in front of your eyes, you have a For You section that shows you some early end users, and later on you will see decision makers that the platform analyzed and thought for you what would be the right selections for you. But again, you can choose those, but you can also not choose these. Okay, this is very important. You're in the loop. Also, some reports regarding the market size. okay? You will see a few of market reports, analysis. I talked earlier about the importance of having a big market. So this is like the early work that was done for you, for your specific case. And of course, competitors, okay? Early competitors, like the start of mapping your competitive landscape, already done for you, right? Clicking on customer discovery will lead us to the customer discovery step, but I don't want to get there just yet. So I'll go again to the homepage, okay? Now, what I'd like you to do, I just showed you like the process. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna log into, you're gonna register to ThinkUp. I will share a link, a dedicated link in a second. And then you are gonna copy your product or problem statement to what you're building today, the first screen that I showed you, and then decide on the problem and challenges in the industry. And if it's great, click next, and then the system will analyze your case, and you will see this for you and explore this. Now, one more thing before I give you the before it's your turn. In the bottom, you can see that basically we expect you to set your goal. Okay, now different users come from different reasons, and this could be like the very basic, like learn how to start up, or explore my idea, or maybe I'm already quite solid on what I'm going to solve, but I want to see that there is a market fit, or maybe I want to get the feedback expert, or maybe I want to prepare for investor materials or start planning my fundraising. So select your goal. Okay, so let's say I'm exploring my idea. Okay, and what happened now is that there's a progress bar in the bottom, okay, telling you which steps or which parts you need to do to complete each and every element that is relevant to your goal, right? So also, besides selecting this or reviewing this for you section, set yourself a goal in the bottom, right? All right. So to those of you who are, a second, let me share I'm going to share the link in the chat. Now, what this dedicated link does, first of all, it gives you 1 month of free access to work, to explore, to work on your idea. It also gives you, so each and every account can hold up to two startups. Okay, so basically what you're going to do now, you can work on your idea, understand how the platform works, and then you can start from scratch once you understand everything in the same account. Okay, so I shared on the chat the link. Please register. And Sofit, again, you'll be my
Sure, we are working on that.
great. Take the time. We have like 5 or 2 minutes. No worries.
You're already registered.
I know.
But you can do that.
I sent you a message. So, let's find some numbers.
I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes to review this, the for you. I actually really like to hear a little bit about, again, we're in a hybrid mode, so I can't see your name. I don't know your names, but I would be very happy to hear kind of a reflection or feedback of what was your idea and what were the results that you got in terms of problem, solution, or challenge, and the end users and the market size, etc. If you got relevant results or not, your first experience.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everyone reach that stage.
Okay, no worries, no worries. We can have a few more minutes, no worries.
That's a new workspace. Yeah. Oh, because you want to do that. I want to try the.
Are you following the steps or just walking into the?
I'm following.
Okay, so anyone want to share the?
Yeah, sure, I can share it, but I don't know if you hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I kind of add both of them.
Ah,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, trying.
So can you hear me good?
Yeah, thank you. What's your name?
My name is Johnny there. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jonathan. Hi.
So I'm kind of happy because doing all your processes and the prompt of ChatGPT, I found some problems that I already identified in the market. So I am already making a solution for them. So that's the first thing. I have kind of match in that problem in that search. And then from what I'm seeing here, the end users are the same that I'm using right now. The competitors, I already knew him, so I already studied them. I have to say that I have some differences in the market size because first of all, there are kind of a big percentage of difference between one data and another data. And I have another data, but it seems that there is a problem. So I think that we are going from the right path.
Okay. First of all, so first impression was that the analysis was more or less, since you already have some idea or pre-work that you did on your idea, there's a correlation with the work that you did, except the market sizes. But let me give you some hint in terms of the market size. Usually the public researches that are available online or the research that we are targeting are talking about huge market, usually. There are sometimes specific researches that we find on niches within industries, but maybe in your case, and again, I don't know if the numbers are high or low in your case, you got your own results. For example, in my case, the one that I show now in my dorm selection, if you remember, the industry was mobile apps. And mobile apps is quite wide definition for my specific case, which was dorm selection app, right? So having huge market size, like here, like half a trillion or 700 billion market, it's not really the real market that I should pursue. Okay, eventually, what you should pursue is like the niche, the right niche I should pursue. In my example, I should pursue a niche within this suggested market report. Okay, so you need to basically delve deeper later on, but it should give you kind of an orientation, first orientation to how to understand how you define your market. Okay, because there are different ways to define your market. Just saying. In my case, for example, it could be the dorm selection market, or it could be a mobile app for students, or it could be from different angles. So what this should do, and again, we're only seeing the overview, you later on should delve deeper into the market overview step and do the work over there to better define your market. Okay, that's it's still an overview, but good observation. Thank you, Jonathan. Anyone else want to share their result?
So
I can't hear you, so maybe, yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So on my side, finding the problems in Kunai didn't work, but I had already done that work myself. So I used the 3 pain points, and it gave me an amazing, with the prompt you shared, it gave me an amazing sentence to use. So I was happy about that. Once I got into ThinkUp, I feel that it understood my challenge and solution pretty well. I accepted one of the insights, and for the end user, also pretty spot on, same as my John. The market size that is completely different to what I have in my own deck. It's a lot bigger, so I'm happy. But I also understand what you just talked about regarding the niche. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, good. So first experience pretty solid, and that's great. Thank you for sharing. Next part is about what I'd like you to go now and do now is to delve into the stakeholders, the customer discovery part, all right? And let me show you a little bit of the process. All right, so I talked about a little bit about it when I introduced the journey or the dream building journey. But the first thing that you need to think of, or maybe you already thought of, or most founders thinking of, is about the end users. But end users are not only always the ones that make the decision, the buying decision. And sometimes there are, for example, in my case, the dorm selection, if I build an app that aims for the students to pay for it, it's one thing. If that's the case, then the end user is also the decision maker, okay, the buyer. But sometimes, for example, maybe the solution that I provide is for the, I don't know, housing director in the university. I built something for the university. And in that case, maybe this director or the, I don't know, even the president of or the CFO of the university makes the call. It's part of the decision-making process. But eventually the students or the freshmen or the remote students are the ones that eventually will use it. So then the end users are different from the decision makers. And then we have the influencers. And influencers, I'm not talking about necessarily, not talking about the marketing influencers that we all hear of. I'm talking about people who may be relevant to this process, but not necessarily part of the decision-making process. Okay, what I'm talking about is, for example, IT manager of the university. Okay, if eventually this app should be linked into the database of which is a property of the university, then maybe I need this guy. He affects that, the process, but he's not part of the decision maker at all. Other people may be relevant, right? So I need to map out not only the end user decision makers, but also try to think of people who eventually affect the decision-making process, okay? And you have that information here. Now, you remember this behavior. The first question would be, who are your end users, right? And we saw before suggestions in the For You. And these are the suggestions that you saw earlier. Okay? The remote users, I will give you some time to work on your own case. Okay, so I'm just kind of overviewing and then you do your work. The remote student, the new student, international students, they could be maybe overlapping in some cases. But let's say I'm focusing on, well, remote students, quite straightforward. International students could be even maybe I need to consider languages and so on. So I'm picking those two. New students, I'm not picking. Okay, this is my case. If none of these results are relevant, or I had someone else in mind, I can definitely type that in. Okay, so let's say freshman student. I can give some description to what I meant and click add. Okay, now I have 3 potential stakeholders that I later on will choose who do I want to focus on. Then I click next and I'm moving forward to the decision makers. And again, I get a recommendation from the platform, housing director, students affairs offices. You will get based on your case, okay? And again, you can decide. Housing director seems right. Student affairs officer could be right. Again, if I have my own, I can add them manually. If I want to add the same end user to be the decision maker, I click here and then I have a drop down and I click, I don't know, let's say international student, right? And then I see indication that it's both end user and decision maker. Okay? And influencers, same behavior. The platform suggests, and the reasoning behind the suggestions is not necessarily that you're going to pick those suggestions. It should stimulate your thinking. Okay? It should make you think, why did we suggest you these specific ones? Maybe these are relevant. Maybe I didn't think of these suggestions in my exploration yet. So you pick them up. So let's say campus blogger or student advocate or campus analysts. Okay? If let's say evaluate students' living trends, offering trusted insights on dorm performance. Yeah, I think it's a good party to decide on. All right. So we did a quick mapping, stakeholders mapping, and we have a few. Okay. The next part is to delve into the personas. Okay. So let's say I'm going to do the first persona mapping. Persona students, let's pick that up. Always starts with demographics. So these are youngsters, maybe 18 years old to, I don't know, 20 something, right? You can type that in. Gender, it could be preferences, no preferences, non-binary, whatever. And location, so United States or any other place. So these are the basics. And based on these basics, we start to help you build the persona. Okay, so we picked a name for you, between the age range that we picked earlier, location, and some bio. And you can, I don't know, pick a picture. This one seems like a nice one. And read it, you can change it. We give some flavor or humanization to the persona. And then we'll delve into the main goal. And again, the platform always suggests you with suggestions, okay? So what is this person's main goal for using the product? So it could, and this is the main one, okay? Can have different challenges, but what is the main one? Does she want to have or enhance social connections, or choose ideal living environment, or find compatible roommates, or you can bring your own, right? But let's say choose ideal living environment. And again, pain points. And look, bear in mind that we are now delving into building a persona's pains and needs. And again, you can think of your own. And if you had already done some work, you can bring your own ideas or focus. But for example, uncertainty about roommates, difficulty finding suitable dorms. These are all challenges, right? And needs. Remember that when you do needs, you need to take into account functional needs, things that aren't working right now for them, but also sometimes emotional needs. Okay? And you have suggestions for this. Find compatible roommates, explore living options, maybe receive personalized recommendation is a need. Bring your own, foster connections, reduce anxiety, right? So different needs. And once completed, for this specific persona, you have a persona, the main goal, a bio, pains, and needs. And I remind you, till now, it's you versus the computer. It's all assumptions. It's your assumptions. Later on in the process, you should go out and do the interviews and validate these assumptions. Okay? But I'll stop here for now, right? Back to the persona. One more thing I wanted you to see. You're going to see some indication that you've completed this persona analysis. All right? And then after we'll show you some more things you can work on. All right. So let's get you some 15 minutes or so to work on your persona. Okay, so you can go to For You, click on Customer Discovery, persona segments, and try to define one or two personas in these 15 minutes. Right.
How to think about the pains of the persona, like each one of them.
Yeah, we have some feedback, actually. We were trying to create some segments and couldn't. It's defaulting to a single selection. It doesn't have the option we need.
I can't hear you that well. Again, sorry, please.
We're trying to add the industry that we need, and
Yeah.
from industry, it's not allowing us to really add the one we have. It's only a select list, but it's missing a lot of options.
You're talking about the after you added what you're building today, it divided into into the solution in the industry. And in the industry, you try to add your own segment, right? And it didn't let you? I couldn't hear that?
Correct, yeah. The industry and the segment is a pretext, but the industry is a drop down, and it doesn't have the options that we want, that we need.
Got it. All right. I will check it out. But try again.
We tried around 4 different options, and it doesn't give us any route.
You try to pick one of the options, but you did.
We tried 4 different options.
Mm-hmm.
All the 4 are not in the list, in the drop down. And it doesn't give us, it gives us the option to do add an additional industry, but it doesn't give you any results after that. So
Got it.
The free text, the screen after that is empty.
I understand the reasoning, but maybe just having a pretext, and then after the pretext, to have some kind of suggestions that closely match known industries instead of just a drop down, because you never know. There might be some niche industries that you're not aware of. A drop down is a coded thing versus if it's an industry that you haven't coded, you cannot select.
Got it. Okay. I'll try to look at it later. It doesn't stop you from working forward, right?
We have no numbers after adding our industry. And
You
then
don't get the numbers in the market, right? The market is blank. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, the market is blank. After that.
Okay,
you have
okay,
to-
okay. But for working for next, okay, I will check it out. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
But continue
Well,
working on the customer discovery. It will be, yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no, but we also have it, we did it previously in another profile, so we're good. We can continue.
Okay, okay. Thank you. I will check it out. Sure. Thanks. All right.
Well, we need to run the. Website for everyone, we need to give the token. Final stage, what do we need to do in the Konai in order to get the tokens?
Again, I can't hear you. Again,
Yeah.
please.
We are back in the Kunai step, trying
Yeah.
to get the solution validated. And
Yeah.
it wants us to pay for the tokens. And someone already talked about it, but we don't see anything on the setting page or.
So have you built your profile over there? Because if you build the profile, go to the right side top. Let me show you. On the top right, you have your profile setting, and then complete your profile, and then you get 3
We
tokens.
don't have it, yeah. We don't have it. We have settings, and then it says manage your profile, business information, billing, and more, and then it's empty.
Yeah, they changed something. That's why I don't. I can't control it from remote. I don't know, something happened there because it should have asked you right in the beginning to complete your profile and then have the token. So what I suggest basically just to give you some ideas. Basically, this is how it looks like. Okay, just for you to know, it runs on the specified subreddit that you did. And for example, it gives you some suggestions to needs and pains. Okay, resource accessibility and guidance in my place, or anxiety and stress management for fresh holders.
One second, because we lost you for a second. Okay.
I'm sick. Can you repeat, please, here?
Yeah, I just showed you an example. I don't know. This is how it looks like when after you do this analysis. Okay, let me see if. So this is how it looks like. In the beginning, you have on the left side you have, let's say, categories. Okay, like pains and anger or ideas from all these Reddits. It just tries to pull different elements like pains and anger, ideas on your specific case, self-promotion of other tools that are relevant, opportunities that comes across. And then I know that you probably don't have tokens, right? But I want to show you what it does when you do the research, okay? I can't control it from remote, but basically this is what it shows you once you're there, okay? It shows you a problem, in my case, a pain or a need, okay? And it directs you to the places where you have that information that you can base your needs on, okay? And this is what you should, and in your case, it will be different resources. And as you provide it more Reddits, then what it does, it actually keeps tracking those Reddits and send you updates. Okay, so it's pretty nice tool because you can add all the time more and more Reddits. It works on the background and it pushes you new updates when it finds one. And with the categories, ideas, pains and anger, opportunities, this is quite nice too. And again, this is not our tool, but we use it and it's working great for us. Okay, did that hopefully solve something? Yeah. All right.
Yes, thank you.
All right. We have, yeah, exactly 15 minutes past. And do you need some more time or are we good? Again, remind you, you should do 1 or 2 personas, delving into the needs and pains and main goals of those 2 personas. Did you complete this task?
Mia, maybe 1, 2 minutes?
Yeah, sure, no worries, for sure. Great.
Oh, it's on the Kunai side. I think they have a bug right now that you cannot edit the setting. Let me think.
All right. So I hope you managed to kind of experience the persona building process and mapping, and just to make you kind of understand the next step before we delve into the next part or the third part of our workshop, is that you can map as many as you want at the beginning. Okay, you may have a few or a few end users, maybe a few potential decision makers and influencers. You can find yourself with, I don't know, 5, 10 personas or maybe more. But what we try to do early on in the process is to make you focus on your 2 main personas. Okay, so in my case, I analyzed only one, so I picked that up, and I have a summary page that shows the one that I already worked on and a few ones that I didn't work on, so they're waiting here. And you can always get back to the main hub here and delve into the next part, etc. But you're focusing first on 2 main persona. You can later on change that, but you're focusing on the first one. Now, what happens afterward is that you have 2 two parts here that I advise you later on in your time to delve into. And that first one is the insight part, which basically recommends whether or not you should maybe merge personas or add personas, or maybe for example, just to give you sense of it, explore the addition of parent persona, the parent of the students. In my case, that might be relevant, maybe not. Up to you to decide. But you are the platform kind of analyzed your case and suggest some more suggestions in terms of adding more personas, or inside each persona, maybe you want to refine the name. Now, one thing I didn't show you earlier, let me see if it's here. On each and every screen, you have kind of an how-to drawer, okay, with information of how you should maybe define your remote students. And sometimes it's not necessarily about the generic naming. Sometimes you need to give them some flavor. So for example, busy professional or fitness beginner, or and the recommendations here in the insights will try to guide you through this. So maybe tweak the naming of that of the remote, or for example, the needs and the pains. So explore this for your case. And also practice investor questions. So, and what we try to do here is to give you some basic early investor questions, because you just worked on this. We want to kind of give you the sense of what kind of question you might be asked regarding the work that you did, okay? Regarding the personas, regarding the solution or needs. So for example, in this case, who needs your solution the most out of all of those you mapped, and why? Try to answer that for yourself, okay? How did you figure out this persona biggest point, pain points? You may be still in the assumption phase, or you have some indication for the pain points, right? So again, investor practice question, it's for you to kind of delve deeper into a more kind of a reflection point, whether or not you not just picked elements, you really delve and understand the reasoning behind your selections, right? All right. Back in the main screen, first of all, you see that we have new suggestion here. Investor practice question to go right on, or right directly to or team members part. But what I want to do now is to take us from the let's call it assumption side. I want to show you something we won't work on, but it's important for you to understand. Okay, you have an all step section, and down below you have the progress bar, right? And you see, for example, that we just did customer discovery, so it's almost like it's partly moved forward, not completed just yet. Now the thing is that after you did some assumptions, you need to go out and interview people, right? We won't delve into that, but I'm just overviewing it. So I'll go into customer insights. I just want to show you, to give you some flavor of it, right? And we did one persona, right? In your case, you might have done more. And there's a call to action called start interviews. And what we try to help you with is, we know that this task of interviewing people is quite tedious, quite intimidating. People are less eager to go out and ask people, but it is super, super important. So we try to help you with this task. How? First of all, we tell you how does the interview should look like, okay? What you should ask, like high level information and a video. Once you read it and you click next, we actually go to your assumptions that you did earlier on that persona, and we build the interview script that you can later ask people on. And what it does is that if you follow that, and you'll see in a second, you record this session, we can later on analyze the recording and help you validate the assumption. Okay, hear me out. So for example, this is the, in my case, interview with the remote students. If I choose the housing director, I had a completely different interview, okay? And if you don't like part of, and you have questions regarding the main goal, the needs and alternatives, and ending notes, exactly how you should run the interview. And if you don't feel comfortable with any of the question, you can edit. But it is ready for you. When we click on it, we give you on the right side the reasoning why we ask these specific questions. All right? Now, clicking next, we try to help you in finding the relevant people, okay? Where you can find these. So clicking on expand your network, I don't know what happened here, but basically you get links to meetups or LinkedIn. I don't know what happened to the icons, but to find remote students or to find specific places where people are talking about it. And you can find these people, and we also provide you with a suggested social media post, okay, that is relevant to this specific case. And it's written in a way that should trigger people in your network to contact you for interview. And also an email written, again, specific for your case. Choosing a dorm and competitive roommates can feel isolating, especially when you're studying remotely. You see, this is specific for your case. You can copy and send it to people before setting the meetings with them. Now, we tell you to get ready to the interview. And if you spot the red dot, we actually want you to record this session. Zoom, audio recording, never mind. Just record it. Why? Because later on, we tell you that if you do 5, minimum 5, but if you do 10 or 20, we can then later analyze the data and validate the assumptions one-on-one. Meaning, let's say you assume something. If more than 2 or 3 people indicated that this is a need or a pain, then it's a validated. If 10 people mention that it's strongly validated, right? So then we indicate that. And maybe you didn't spot something, but many people repeated the same challenge. Then we bring you some new insights, okay? So it is super important to record these meetings, and then we analyze. There's a CRM kind of a process that you keep the data in. So let's say I made art, right? And never mind. And the date. And first thing we ask you, how was the meeting? Okay, and then rate your experience. And maybe Art had a major understanding of the topic. Maybe the quality of the feedback wasn't that good. Is Art matched the persona? Medium, and clicking next. And then you upload the recording, right? You can do it, by the way, manually, but then it's a tedious task. That's what we want you to kind of record and then upload, because then things become much easier. And once you do that, we summarize the call, the session. And when having 5 or more, we show you an analysis. I want to show you something, how it looks like. All steps, customer insights. And this is how it looks like, for example. Okay, so this one wasn't validated. So the main goal of that persona was validated. Many of the calls, many of the needs and the pains were validated. You see that one wasn't, right? Now you have to bear in mind that this is a proof of concept, proof of work. When the investor eventually will ask you, why did you select this specific persona over the other? You have a proof of work, okay, which is super important in one place. All right, that's what I wanted to show you. Moving back to the new, I think it's the last one. Let's see. All right, now I want to talk to you a little bit about product concept. Okay, so let's say you interviewed people and you validated specific needs and pain. Now you have more solid understanding of the needs that you need to cover, right? And in our case, for example, in the customer discovery, we have, for example, uncertainty about roommates, or difficulty finding suitable dorms, or the pains, right? Or the needs and pains. All right. So now what we're going to do is that we need to think of features in the product that might be relevant to us, right? Or that would cover the pains or the need, would solve the pains and the needs. In order to do that, we go to product concept. Right. Now, before we delve into product concept, what we're trying to do now is to give you some sense that you're progressed a bit and there's a startup starting to shape up. So we suggest some names to the startup. So let's call it, I don't know, Cohabit maybe, or Living Link, which is quite nice. You can bring your own. And the first thing we try to help you with is to define your product statement, right? And what you can see now, same behavior, is Living Link is the remote students who need to find, it's for remote students who need to find compatible roommates and exploring living options. It's a mobile app that intelligently matches students to dorm roommates, fostering connection and reducing anxiety. Maybe you can see here some of my early selections. You can maybe spot here some of my early selection in this suggestion. So let's say I'm picking the first one, and now I have a product statement. Now the next part deals with product capabilities. And what you're going to see now is that you don't have here suggestions all of a sudden, right? Because this is where you should shine, right? But what I'm going to introduce you now is a new tool, another tool, that you can bring your data that you already did, okay? The needs, the pains, the product statement, and everything. And it may suggest you nice features for your continuation of the work. And this tool called, let me show you. It brings it directly to the dashboard. Yeah. It's called Magic Patterns, okay? And what it does basically, it asks you what you're planning to build, and it will suggest potential features for you, right? Now, I will share in the chat a file, right? A prompt for Magic Pattern. So what you should do now is go to, and also I will share a Magic Pattern link, of course. Okay, it's on the chat. So you can, I don't remember if they ask for registration right away, or maybe you right away prompt something and they will ask to register. And what you should do, let me walk you through the different parts, okay, of that prompt. So basically, this prompt asks for features, right? And you need to basically add in the inputs part the idea statement that you did earlier, okay, in your the one that you added to ThinkUp, the names of the target persona, maybe one, maybe two that you completed already, right? And the list of pains and needs from ThinkUp, just copy and paste it to the prompt, to your prompt, right? And the product statement, the one that we just did on the product statement first screen. Again, let me repeat again, okay? You already have the idea statement or the problem statement that we did first, the first task that we had this workshop. Then you just completed one or two personas, right? So pick one and write the title of it, the name of the persona. Then add the needs and pain that you mapped earlier of that persona, okay? And let's assume that you already kind of interviewed people and you validated some of those needs and you focus on those needs. But for now, just bring the ones that you added to the personas. And when you do the work, you should first go to product concept, okay? Pick a name, click next, and do this product statement, and then copy that into the prompt that I showed you earlier here, okay? And once you have that ready, take all of that prompt and paste it into this box. And what it should give you is features, potential features to solve those needs. All right? So go ahead. In the meantime, I will show you, if you want to see how I do it, no worries. But I'm watching the clock, and I think that it's better that you start working on it.
Or adjust the prompt for your own idea or your own, if it's too general.
talking with Alex that we're trying to remember how it was before AI, this kind of process.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
So the nice thing is that it should
Now we have access to
it should kind of in one way speed you up, but on the other hand, you need to be very balanced in terms of understanding where you're heading to, which is quite
it's the ultimate scale-up challenge. If you're scaling up the wrong thing, you're also scaling up the problem.
yeah.
Sorry, Nir, one question. When we are in magic pattern and we make the prompt, we should put design or component.
Just click next. I mean, you can have component, you can have design, you can do component,
Okay, because there are the both options.
but it doesn't really. It should give you some ideas in terms of features eventually, either design or component. The result will get you to features of that will solve the needs.
Okay.
Did you find some pictures? Magic pattern?
The what, sorry?
Did you enter the prompt of the magic pattern?
Yes,
You did?
it's building.
Working.
No, because I heard that company.
How many of you already prompted the magic pattern and received early suggestions, features? Maybe raise your hand that I will see.
We got three options.
Three options, okay. For features, right? Three different features.
No, we actually it builds entire platforms like directions, different directions of the problem. We didn't specify feature.
Okay. Good.
This one. This one.
Let's give it maybe 5 more minutes.
The parents are gonna go to the desktop to do the stuff and yeah. It seems to me that exactly. Well, that's a good question. Maybe a question for you. So we're
Yeah,
already
please.
one step further, and let's say we like what we see, this
Yeah.
mockup type, this let's call it live wireframe. And
Exactly.
we say, okay, actually that's a good idea, but we need it as a mobile app. Here it's a web app. So what would be a good step for us to continue? Is there something that can convert this?
So there is a coding element here. It should help you kind of export the suggestions if it's a component or a design, depends on the case. And there is mobile compatibility. I want to emphasize why I use this one. It's not, I mean, you can definitely go and explore Magic Patterns for sure. It's a really nice features-oriented platform, okay, or vibe coding, I would say this. But what I wanted to have, like in the early phases, is ideas that may solve the needs that I explored earlier, right? So for example, just to show you in my case, in the DOM selections, it kind of suggested that I would do compatibility quiz or smart match feed or DOM Explorer, which basically solve the main need of or match request system, right? The more later kind of feature enhancement, may be icebreaker prompts or deal breaker must have for the students. What is the deal breaker that I should choose the dorm by or not? Insights, and also virtual tools later on. So these are all early features that are relevant to my app, right? To the dorm selection app. Now, what I would do here now is that I would take, and again, I hope that everyone kind of had the chance to explore a little bit Magic Pattern, at least to taste it. What I would do now is, I'll take whatever I liked here. So for example, match request system, right? I copy it, and going back to ThinkUp, and again, I remind you, the ThinkUp basically acts as the hub, as the main hub that you basically store everything and work in the right space, in the same space. And in the product concept, going back to the statement, clicking next actually get me here to this basically blank page, right? But in this blank page, I start adding the capabilities, okay? Copy and paste. So I'm adding the match request system, and I'm adding the, let's say, compatibility insights. And again, I can describe exactly what I mean by that in the second, and maybe virtual tools. And maybe comparison tools. Some could be basic, some could be more in more detail, right? So let's say I kind of accumulated 4, maybe more product capabilities, and I'm clicking next. Now, what happens now in the next section is that I need to match between the feature and the capability and the needs that it serves. Okay, because we have many needs on the right. We have find compatible roommates, explore living options, and receive personalized recommendation. So now what I need to do is kind of drag and drop to match between the capabilities and the needs. Okay, maybe virtual tools. So find compatible roommates, or no, roommates is more about explore living options. Maybe comparison tools too. I didn't add as here comes the part where you start delving into thinking about the features in correlation with the needs. That is key. That is key. And you see that I'm missing here capabilities to serve some of the needs. So go back to Magic Pattern or externally and rethink it. Okay, this is where the mind starts to work. Okay, and once you complete that, and you can, by the way, you can have multiple capabilities. I mean, one capability can serve multiple needs, so you can drag and drop and add them as you wish. And then after you do that, again, it's a work in progress. Okay, so you need to understand which are the most, after you mapped, and again, this is a very short, narrow work that I just did in 2 minutes. But when you have a list of needs and a list of capabilities, what you need to do next is basically prioritize your work, right? What you're going to work on first, what you're going to focus on. We discussed about focus earlier. So for example, I'm going to prioritize For example, the compatible roommates, for example, and how much do the customers value the solution for finding compatible roommates, right? Maybe I need to go out and re-ask some of the questions. Maybe I'm going to assess now and change it later. But this is the place where you start structuring the reasoning behind your selection, why you choose the specific features to solve each need, why this is first over the other, and we try to help you with the right questions, okay, to focus you. Now, it may seem like a lot of work at the beginning, but believe me, once you're there and you delve into it and you explore things and you understand the previous answer that you answered before, but then something is changed, you iterate your decision, you change the rating again, that's where the magic really happens, right? So this is how we built this this stage, I would say. The product concept is quite the product concept step is quite it's significant in terms of the broadness that it covers. Okay, you see that we only covered like the product capabilities, and it has like the value proposition element and the architecture, which is kind of an illustration of the product concept that you did, and a summary. And this is a huge step. You again, I remind you, you're guided all the time with data. Well, I mean, with information that you can read if you forget something or you need context. Another thing that you can use all the time is our chatbot, okay? And I think this is a good timing to kind of explain a little bit what we provide here. So this chatbot basically is trained on the content within the platform in two folds. One, you can ask basic questions. So if you don't remember where the discussion on market size, TAM, for example, or who are the decision makers or the influencers, and you don't want to go to the customer discovery step and to the right, place, you can ask who are influencers, who are influencers, okay, for example. Let's make it simple. Okay, and you get quick answer in terms of, that won't get stuck right away. I mean, it's a simple question that can be answered with an example, and you can re-ask and use this chat. This is one thing, content. The second thing is how do I do things? How do I complete this the screen? Or how do I define, how should I define something, right? So you can type it in and ask it right away. This is one way of using the chat. The second thing, if it's a more, let's call it broader question, strategic question, that you need to kind of consult with someone, we offer you to schedule a meeting with a startup mentor, right? And you can book a meeting with us. So if it's not a simple question and you want, for example, you did some work and you want to have kind of an overview of the work that you did, feel free to reach out and book a meeting with us, and we'll be happy to help you. Right? So I wanted to give you a brief understanding on the product concept. I'm watching the clock, and I'm kind of we have another small part by the end of the session. So I wanted you to work a little bit on that part, but I think we got it covered. I want to show you some more elements within the platform that you might find useful, okay? And again, there are a lot of parts here, okay? So we just dealt with the product concept, but you have competitive analysis, the product concept validation, the business model, go-to-market, and again, it is built in a way that, let me show you one thing. We didn't explore the map just yet. Okay, so the map basically gives you some hints on, first of all, on the journey, the different parts. And it also,
Nir, I think it's just worth noting that the map is not available yet.
we didn't air it just yet. I think it's from today.
It's not in production yet. It's gonna be 2-3 weeks.
Okay. In 2-3 weeks, you're gonna see what I'm showing you right now. No worries. So basically, you remember the progress bar, right? So the progress bar actually shows you the different steps that you need to complete in order to achieve the goal that you set earlier. And also, there are some that are locked, right? So it kind of show you what you need to complete first in order to open the next or the locked step, okay? Because we need the data from earlier steps to help you with the product. You can't do product concept validation if you didn't do the product concept, right? And also, if you want to do the go-to-market strategy, we need to first know what are the market, who are your competitors, and so on and so forth. So you need to complete the steps earlier. And it shows you that, why it's locked, right? So, yeah, I mean, it gives you some hints. Again, 2 weeks time, you're gonna see this map. No worries. And this is one thing. Second thing is the dashboard. Okay, so you work and you do all that work digitally. And what we try to help you with is understand, or at least help you kind of understand what you need to complete in order to have a broader picture of your startup or your idea. Okay, so in this case, we just started, right? So we have a problem definition, and we also have the persona that I did earlier. Okay, and if you do some multiple ones, you're going to see them all lining up here. And you can see different blocks that are not ready yet. Okay, but it gives you kind of the idea of what I need to complete to make a full story, or at least a full view of my idea. So for example, the market. Okay, and by clicking here, you move forward and start the market step. Or what is my unique value proposition? I can't do unique value. I can't understand where am I unique if I didn't map the landscape and the competitor first, right? Otherwise, how do I know I'm unique? I can have a value proposition, but not necessarily the unique one. So it's a missing part. And the business advantages. Business advantages, unlike unique value proposition, right? Where you are basically trying to explain the end users or the users what differentiates you from others, from the competitors, and why they should choose you. The business advantages are for partners and investors. So for example, let's say you are a team of, I don't know, ex Google or ex whatever. You have 20 years of experience working together. You have an IP. You have relationship with strategic partners that are relevant to this idea of venture. These are things that are not relevant to the end users, right? But are super relevant to the investors. So the place where you kind of give the reasoning why investors or partners should join you or be in touch with you happen in the business advantages part, right? And so on and so forth, the architecture, the competitors. And as you work on the steps, this fills up, okay, automatically. It just fills because you already worked on it and it comes here. You can then edit it, improve it, and eventually, once it's ready, and let me show you a little bit how it looks like when it's ready. Okay, so you see now it's more complete. Okay, for example, competitors. I can see that I have some problem with my images here. I don't know why. The unique value proposition. What is my top value proposition? And we are the only platform that uses sophisticated matching algorithm, and so on and so forth. But the market size, what it is based on, top down, bottom up, and the resources, again, half completed. The business model, subscription model, it's a product-led growth strategy, doing most of the work direct and not necessarily through channel partners, and so on and so forth. This is an example, okay? You work on your own case. But what I want to share with you is that you have two ways of sharing this, okay? One is sharing it with us. Now, I want you to understand one key element. Your idea is yours, okay? You work here, it's your workspace. We don't see the data, okay? You work here and it stores on the databases with the high standards, but we don't see your data. The only time that we see your data is when basically you give us a consent. How you give us a consent? With this get expert feedback. When you ask us to review your data and give you some feedback, okay? You basically write down, please review my work. You can ask questions, okay, never mind, and share. Now what happened is that it is shared with us, okay? This is if you want to get quick feedback on your work. You can also schedule a meeting. If you want to share it with external party, okay, expert matter. Let's say you completed the work here. You click on the black share and you can write emails and send it to someone, okay? And then they register to ThinkUp, they get access, and what they can do is that they can, by the way, they don't see all the steps that you saw, they don't see your work. They see only this data here, the one that is on the dashboard. And what they can do, they can write you contextual comments. Let's say they don't like your unique value proposition. Let's say they think this is not unique. For example, if it's an expert matter, he may say, look, there's this guy and this startup, this solution that already provide this value proposition, so yours not unique. So this is something they can write a comment on, okay? Your solution is not unique. Watch, I don't know, Roomify. Say there? Okay? Right. All right. So this is how you share the dashboard. And also one thing you get is a pitch deck. Now, alignment here, we are not competing with Canva or PowerPoint. Okay, this is not the goal of this in terms of visuality and editing ability. It just gives a structure of a pitch deck. Okay, it suggests a one-liner. You can change it. Okay, you can type whatever you want. You can add a logo. A storytelling process, okay? Did you know, like the problem that you're trying to solve? Again, you can choose your own, you can type in your own. Let's move into more details. So you did some work. So the architecture, your solution, the competitive landscape and the unique value proposition that you need to kind of articulate. Once you show the table or the unique value proposition, it makes sense. Okay, it should make sense, both of these. Market size, and why now? Why now is the right time to tackle this problem that you're trying to, and so on and so forth. The go-to-market strategy, who you're gonna attract first, your early adopters, and so on and so forth. One more thing I want to show you here is that there's a set of, for each slide, there are more investor questions to practice on. Okay, so here are specific questions based on what you show them on the pitch deck that you can practice on. You can add your answers, whatever. Okay, you can, what specific challenges do students face in the current DOM selection process? Question from investor. Is there data to support the students are actively seeking solution, and so on and so forth? Okay, so you can write down your answers. So this is what it should help you with. Do some kind of a dry run. Understand your story around your worked idea, work venture. Right, right. I think that covers it. Let me show you. So, you know what, before showing you, any questions? I know I talked a little bit in the last 15 minutes or so, but you've seen the platform, you've seen the process. I want to hear some feedback from you. What are you getting out of this workshop? What are you going to do next? Let me hear you out a bit.
So in my case, what I'm going to do is basically check it with more calm at home, all the steps, everything that you can, let's gonna say, think to our ideas, and then understand how it can really works to my, in that case, to my project. But in general, I really think it's a nice way to do a fast project and to have, let's gonna say, all the metrics that you need to realize if what you're going to do is going to be worth it or not. So from what I've seen, I think it's really available. I need to understand how it really works when I'm going to go deep in every step.
Sure, sure, absolutely. First of all, thank you for this feedback. I know that 3 hours seems like a lot of time, but you know, building your idea takes a little bit more, and we just try to give you some taste on the process. First, the structure process, and then on ThinkUp a bit, and with other tools. And I hope that gives a spark, and it's really interesting to hear feedback, say, in 2 or 3 weeks' time now. And if it's okay, we'll be happy to connect and kind of hear your deeper thoughts after you worked a little bit more on the platform, for sure. Thank you for this comment. Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, maybe let's just, for me, I'll say that from the side of the community, for the personal side of the startup side, we're gonna work on it for sure. For the community side, we want to continue bringing more people. We had to build this workshop under rush a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still very happy with the turnout. The workshop was great. We loved your presentation here. And specifically for this group, I'm going to try and arrange something of a follow-up with the community. I depending on how much involvement or time you have specifically, but we can talk about this later.
Sure.
I definitely want to see how things progress and whether or not people find value, because like you said, 3 hours is definitely not a lot to cover all this functionality.
Yeah, yeah. All right, sure. Thank you for this opportunity, and yeah, let's explore further. 2 things I want to say before we wrap up, and let me kind of close. I want to see you kind of better. So as you work on the platform, just want to hint a few elements. First of all, now we have roughly 4,500 founders or ideas or startups on our platform at the moment, working different stages. Very interesting to see. We offer for the ones who, so I want you to know that we have a funding opportunity eventually. I know it's early in your journey, but eventually we have criteria, completing all the journey, validating, doing the interviews, doing the product concept validation, moving forward, structuring the whole thing. And then there's a section which basically opens up for you called eligibility for funding, or you're eligible for funding. And you click on it, and basically you fill up a form. And what we do, we act as an investor. We have an investment committee, and we judge the work. And now we have a much deeper understanding of your startup than, I would say, the normal pitch deck that most of investors get. out there because you give us the consent to see the data. And then two things happen. If you did a meaningful work and your idea or the venture that you worked on makes sense or interesting enough or unique enough, and we understand that this is a pre-seed stage, then you get funded. Okay, we decide on it and you get funded. But if not, what we do is that we give you a thorough feedback because we see the work that you did. We give you a thorough feedback of where were the gaps, what should you work on more further, and then we invite you to do the correction or the improve your application and reapply again. Okay, so it's not a dead end kind of discussion. We really want you to do meaningful work and get funded eventually, right? So and basically find value from the process. So this is I wanted you to know that it's available for you too, as to all of our users. All right, I'm watching the clock. You worked hard, 3 hours. Thank you for sparing the time. I hope you enjoyed it. And let's see you get working, and we'll be happy to support you anytime. All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Let's stay in touch.
Thank you. Thank
Sure,
you.
Diogo. We'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy to stay in touch. Mm. I think we can cancel the recording. We can stop it.
Yes. Yeah.